stroke, heart attack, illness, or injury, San Juan Regional Medical Center's caregivers are here to provide care to you and your loved ones. Find out more online at sanjuanregional.com.
Ten minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Monday morning, October 26th. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM here in San Juan County, New Mexico, 103.3 FM over the air in Durango, Colorado, and of course streaming everywhere from our website at KSJE.com. Welcome also to our viewers who are watching our visual radio program. We are streaming the program live this morning on 3 different platforms through the KSJE Facebook page, our KSJE YouTube channel, and the KSJE Twitter account. So we're glad that you are with us, whatever platform you are watching on this morning. Coming up in the next few moments, we'll be talking with Trace Rios, Habitat for Humanity, getting an update from them. They have a fundraiser underway for Habitat for Humanity in the local area, and also they are starting to build their 12th home here in San Juan County for a San Juan County family. So we'll give you an update on that coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Then, of course, at 9 a.m. this morning, it is our COVID-19 program about the coronavirus. Megan Cullip will be joining me here in Studio A. We'll be getting an update from ECHO on some of the work that they are doing to help families in San Juan County in relation to COVID-19. So that's coming up this morning. Also, news about an important suicide awareness program. We'll get an update on that coming up today. Live at 9 a.m. It is streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and our Twitter feed today, and a rebroadcast always this afternoon at 5:06 on KSJE Radio and on our website. On the radio at 9, Mick Hess is going to take us roving with the arts. He is playing music this morning from the Pacifica String Quartet, and you will hear that on Roving with the Arts beginning at 9:06 on the radio this morning on KSJE. We also remind you can connect with us on our social media platforms in addition to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Don't forget about Instagram. We're on there as well, so we hope you'll connect with us there. And let's look at this weather forecast, which has a couple of S words in it this morning. Snow, 34 degrees for a high today with snow showers this morning. There is a winter weather advisory in the San Juan County area in effect from today up until 6 a.m. on Wednesday. So we're going to get a couple of days of this. Maybe 2 to 4 inches of accumulation is what the forecasters are saying. More chances for snow overnight and colder weather with a low of 22 degrees tonight. It'll be cloudy again tomorrow with another chance of maybe snow and rain with a high of 41 on Tuesday. 22 again Tuesday night before things kind of warm up a bit on Wednesday. Partly sunny, 49 for a high, mid-50s on Thursday, 60 by Friday, and maybe lower 60s for Saturday and Sunday with some partly sunny skies. And of course, we always tell you that visual radio can take you places. Why don't we do that this morning and take you just out the door here to San Juan College and the conditions here at San Juan College from a few moments ago. You can kind of see the roads are just wet here in town, but the snow is sticking to the areas that are not paved. But that is some of the conditions here. Certainly doesn't look very clear at the moment, and it is not. A little further to our north in Telluride, Colorado. Let's take you over there and check out what things look like in Telluride this morning. And they got a lot more snow than we have here in San Juan County. And this is the scene in Telluride. As you can see, Colorado Avenue there in downtown Telluride. And they are still set up for outdoor dining from some of their restaurants in Telluride, and that's probably not going to happen, at least not for breakfast this morning. But that is the scene in Telluride as the plows get out and clear the street and get things ready for another active day. Joining me this morning to talk a little bit about the efforts of Habitat for Humanity here in San Juan County. Hope Tyler is joining us via Zoom this morning. Hope, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, everyone.
Thank you very much. And also joining us here on Zoom, Danni Andrew, who is a board member of Habitat for Humanity. Danni, good morning to you.
Good morning, Scott. How are you?
I am well. Thanks to see you. Thank you for being here. And let's get started by talking a little bit about the latest with Habitat for Humanity. And that would be a big fundraiser that the organization is putting on. And
Yes.
we've got to act fast if we want to help, right?
Absolutely. We are in our final week of our 5K. We're calling it Step Up for Habitat Homes. And we're asking people to walk 10 steps at a time, 30 steps at a time, 1 mile at a time, but to walk 3.1 miles and ask family and friends to support them with anything from a $1 donation up to however much you feel comfortable with. And then in return, we will put that towards the new home that we're building. And
Nice.
We're very excited about our upcoming projects.
Very cool. And so it's virtual, as you said, and so we can do this anywhere. Don't have to be here in the Four Corners, I suppose, right? You could sign up.
In fact, Danni's been just taking her steps up and down the stairs, right, Danni?
Yes, I have. I have 2 little dogs that are following me up and down the stairs, and I am at about, believe it or not, 4,000 steps.
Good for you. That's a lot of stairs.
It really is.
Holy
and
smokes.
it's a lot of fun.
Good for you. Well, that's a great way to make it happen and make it work. And so we can sign up from the Habitat website.
Yes, there's a link on our website at www.tracerioshabitat.com. You can also find it on Facebook. We have a Facebook event that directly links you to the GoFundMe page where you can sign up either a team or as an individual. It's a really fun thing to do. That's what I do is in the mornings I walk with my neighbor. We chit-chat along and we do our steps.
Very good. Nice. And you're looking for just 3.1 miles, which doesn't seem like it's too very far, right? So we can do that maybe in a good walk on a good day, maybe.
Absolutely. Or even if you did for the next 5 days, if you did a half a mile, you're set.
That's
Or
true.
A little over a half mile.
And everything wraps up basically around Sunday, November 1st, Monday, November 2nd, around that time?
Yes. Yep. We'll announce the leaderboarders on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, if you collect the most donations or you do the most steps, whatever it is, we'll be announcing those on Monday.
Okay, very
So
good.
1 week left.
1 week, everybody. So get signed up. And again, you can do that through the website or through Facebook, the Trace Rios Habitat website or Facebook page. And the money raised, Hope, as you mentioned, goes to help with your construction projects. And you are now building is it the 12th house now in San Juan County?
We are building our 12th new home in San Juan County. So we do 2 things. We repair homes that are unsafe, unsanitary, or we build new homes. And we currently have started a new home. We started it 2 weeks ago. They're digging the dirt for the foundation right now as we speak. In fact, today as we speak, they're doing that.
Okay.
And that house is in Bloomfield. And we're very excited because our last 3 homes have been on Crouch Mesa. So we're branching out a little bit into the Bloomfield area. Thank you very much to Dorothy Novus, who donated the lot to us. And then we also do repair projects. So we'll paint the outside of someone's home. We'll build a handicap ramp. If your gutters are leaking, we'll put in the gutter systems for you. There's lots of exterior things we do for that program. And
Right.
I would imagine we'll be ready to do another one of those in a few months because we got to get this new house off the ground.
Sure. Very good. And Danni, Andrew, let me ask you a little bit about your involvement with the organization too, because as I mentioned, you're on the board and you're helping with this fundraiser. And what else got you involved with Habitat?
I got involved with Habitat because I moved back from Albuquerque in right at a year ago. And after I resigned from Toastmasters, I decided I needed something to do, for one. And for 2, I have always admired what Habitat does. I think it's an amazing organization. And I made a couple of phone calls and got a hold of Daniel over at the Habitat Restore. And if you have not been to the Restore, you should go. It's a really great place to pick up some things that maybe you need for your project. And he said, you need to call Hope.
Right.
And first step was an email to Hope, and she sent me her phone number, and we got on the phone and chatted for quite a while.
We became BFFs right away.
Absolutely.
Right.
It was a great conversation. And with my history with Toastmasters and with quite a few other projects, because I like to give back. I like to be involved. And I work at home and telecommute, so getting out in the community is hard. And being how things are going on right now, a lot of what we're doing is virtual, but it still have that face on
You bet.
the other side. And I wanted to be able to give back more. And I do have a little bit of a history in marketing a little bit because of what I've done and fundraising and that sort of thing. And it just seemed to fit right into what I wanted to do and what Habitat needed. And we have been brainstorming and filling up the notebook and coming up with ideas. And
Very
it
good.
just seemed to fit very well.
Well, it sounds like a good fit, so that's great. Yes. And Hope, Tyler, I know it's always great to find great new board members that come in with some
Yes.
energy and
I am
a new ideas.
very excited to have Danni part of us. She's not given herself enough credit. She's an amazing artist, author.
True.
She definitely gives back, and I am beyond excited. Her as well as our other new board members. We have 3 or 4 new board members that are all very excited to get a part of our mission.
Very nice, very nice. Well, you mentioned the new home that's being built in the Bloomfield area, and talk to me about the family, because they play a big role in all of the Habitat homes when they're selected and things like that. And so I think you sent me a picture that I'll show here in a minute too to our video viewers who are watching us. But tell me about the family.
So the family was actually selected back in March prior to the shutdown. Her name is Jade. She's a single mother of 3 children. And she went through our program where you have to get your credit checked and all the normal things you would do when getting a home loan.
Right.
Except for we're creating something for a low-income family. And one of our other requirements is that you have to be able to show that you live in an unsafe, unsanitary, overcrowded situation. And so she qualified because she and her 3 children, since around last October, so almost a year, have been living in a 2-bedroom apartment with her sister and her sister's children. And the family, Jade and her 3 children, are sharing one room in that home. And so obviously very overcrowded.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she's a hard worker and she works hard to support her family. And so we selected her as our person. And then she's been very patiently waiting until we could actually start the construction, because we were shut down for a full 2 months. And then, of course, permitting and everything is just going a little bit slower than normal. But we are off to the races, and she's very excited, and we're excited to have her joining us.
I would think so. And so with those families, then, as they go through your program and you check on all their credit and they're fiscally responsible and things like that, then they also help to build the home that they're actually going to eventually move into, correct? There's part of that is in the Habitat program.
We call it sweat equity.
Right.
But they have to spend 200 hours working and helping build the home. So Jade will be joining us almost every Friday and Saturday, as much as she possibly can, to actually help paint her walls and stain the edge of the siding. And she can cook meals for the volunteers. We let her do that for some of her hours too. But yeah, she's going to be learning how to do some basic maintenance and stuff for the future of the home, as well as helping build the home.
Right. Very cool. And that's very exciting, I know. And you can see from the picture that you sent, they've got big wide smiles on their faces. So we know that this is going to be a life-changing event for the whole family.
Yeah, she's told me over and over again how life-changing this is going to be. And, one of our mottos is give a hand up. And she has said, this is really going to make the difference for my family.
Very true, very true. And Danni, Andrew, let me turn back to you a little bit about this type of life-changing story. Again, it's got to be great to be involved with Habitat for Humanity and seeing how these families are going to be have new surroundings, new safe places to live, not have to share just one room by getting their own home once the construction is completed.
That is so exciting, and that is another reason that I want to be involved, is because I was once, that I'm not now. My children are all grown, but there was a time in my life where I was living in a situation with young children that wasn't the safest, and I want to be able to I'm not very good at, I know how to swing a hammer, but I'm not exactly the type that's going to go out and dig ditches and and that, but I can work in the back part of, working on the board and
Sure.
helping these young mothers, because I was a young mother once with small children.
Right. And I know there's a lot of pressure and responsibility for a homemaker, any type, or any kind of young family to try to provide a safe place for their children to grow up in. So that's a big deal.
It is.
Very true. Hope Tyler, now with this is the 12th home you were telling me, and so in addition to this, you keep track with the other Habitat homeowners and how they're doing and how they're making their payments and staying with the program, right? That's also part of this, isn't it?
Absolutely. In fact, hopefully sometime in the near future, we're going to be organizing a homeowner luncheon, and they're going to all give feedback to Jade and say, here's what our experiences has been like, here's what we learned going through the process. So not only do we continue to support them, but for example, we gave them a 2-month time where they did not have to pay their mortgage during the shutdowns, but we also helped them to become their own community and support each other through the process of homeownership, especially the families on Crouch Mesa. But Jade actually happens to be very good friends with one of our former homeowners, so the two of them especially have really supported each other through this process.
Very nice. And so then she has maybe a little bit of insight, too, as to what's expected and what she should be planning for and things along that line then, correct?
Absolutely, 100%.
Very good. And so, and I know you mentioned having this luncheon, but of course, nobody's getting together too much these days, but eventually that would be a great gathering and a great celebration. Has COVID kind of changed the way you mentioned some of the permitting things maybe a bit slower, but the actual construction, I mean, obviously people are still building homes, and so they're able to do that somewhat safely?
So there's several things we've been impacted with COVID. The major one is we are limited to a maximum of 5 volunteers on a job site at the moment.
Right.
And so, typically we might have 10 or 15 people come in and paint a home and redo windows. And so it takes a little longer to get the projects done because we don't have as much volunteer labor. We were able, even throughout the last 6 months, to do 3 more of these repair projects. So we did not stop working on the homes. However, the store was shut down for almost 2 months, and Daniel fortunately was able to still pick up donations, but we were not able to have the storefront open. And then probably one of the biggest impacts is a lot of the funding that we normally receive has been designated for COVID-specific things this year, as it should be, 100%. But that means it's a little harder for us to get some of the fundraising that we're trying to get done.
Right. And that fundraising then goes to help purchase some of the building materials and things like that. I know you get some discounts or donations sometimes to put all these projects together, but there still are costs involved in putting these houses, building these houses from the ground up, literally.
Yeah, we work with groups like Alpine Lumber, who will provide all the lumber for the home, and they always are really good to us to give us discounts where they can. And we work with, like Serrano's just donated the Porta-John for the job site, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of community help that goes that way in trade. We always encourage more trade. But in the end, we still have to have cash, and we still need the cash to get the building materials and actually do the projects.
Right. And you mentioned some of those permits, and I imagine they still are charging you for permits, aren't they?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. We pay full price just like everybody.
Right. And that's where some of that cash comes in handy, I suppose, to try to
yes,
to do that as well. Now, both you and Danny mentioned Daniel Evans and the manager of the Habitat Restore. They're on the south side of town off of Murray Drive, Bloomfield Highway. And so is the store back open now? I should know this, and I'm embarrassed that I don't.
He is open.
Good.
Being his typical, very friendly, talking to everyone in the community, But the biggest thing I asked him before this meeting, I said, Daniel, what's the biggest message you want to give the community? And he said, please keep donating. Call me. I'll arrange a pickup. But the store is dependent on donations from the community.
Right.
And we're not talking about donations that are left outside and maybe we want them, but real, donations where people are contacting Daniel, they're talking to him about it. I love to go to the store and get, like Danny was talking about, I go and get little tiles and build mosaics for my garden, or Danny, I know you've done several things, but anything, whether you're buying from the store or donating to the store, it helps our mission. Any profits from the store go right directly to building these homes.
Right, very true. And I know that again, when you go down to the store, there's all kinds of things that are there. Danny Andrew mentioned some of the things that are available, but it's large and small items. But these are things that are coming out of people's homes and going into other people's homes, so that's why you want them in somewhat good repair. But maybe a coat of paint is okay. But Daniel's done a great job of organizing the store and being able to tell you if you're looking for some specific item, he can probably tell you what aisle to go down or what shelf it'll be on to be able to find it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing the things he has. I mean, from all the way from dishwashers to a couch to a desk to little screws that you couldn't find anywhere else for whatever you needed a screw for. He's got it all.
Right.
And it's all discounted. We're big believers in upcycling, reuse and upcycle. So
true.
And something else to mention, I always forget, but we also are doing the second Saturday of every month, we're doing a volunteer work day at the store. So, maybe you don't want to be in construction like Danny said, she's not going to necessarily swing the hammer, but we always need people to come into the store and help Daniel because he's kind of a one-man show. He does a lot for the organization.
Good point. And that sounds like a way to maybe give back a little bit too. So that's a great idea. My guest this morning from the Tres Rios chapter of Habitat for Humanity. We are talking about their upcoming fundraiser, which is actually going on right now, and we'll be wrapping up within the next 7 days. So we'll talk more about that in just a moment. And also the 12th home that Habitat for Humanity is building for a local family here in San Juan County. And I'm trying to remember back, Hope Tyler, you may know the answer to this question about how many years Habitat has been building homes in San Juan County. It probably predates both of us, I would think.
Yes, it definitely predates me, for sure. I believe that the first home they built was in 88, I want to say.
Okay.
1988. So, and then they went very slowly those first 10 years, and then the last 5 to 6 years, we've really picked up the momentum.
Right, which is great. And we know that there's a need there, too, for these homes, and so that kind of makes sense. And I know if you could, I imagine you'd love to build more than one home maybe every 6 months or one home a year or things like that, correct?
Oh, I mean, if we could have our dream, we would easily build 2 homes or more a year. But, it takes a lot of resources and it takes a lot of manpower. But that's our long-term goal. Someday, we will be building more homes, with certainly the need. We had the last meeting for people who were applying for homes. We had over 100 people coming in saying we had a need. Wow,
that's a lot. Well, there you go, board member Danny Andrew. There's your goal, I guess, right?
It is, and I have ideas.
Good. Very good. Well, we know the need is great here in San Juan County for families who need safe places to live, to raise their families, and things along that line. So that's very important. Let's talk again about the fundraiser that is again ongoing, as I mentioned, and folks can get details and get signed up. That's the most important thing through your Facebook page or your website, correct?
Yes. And Danny, do you want to take the lead on this one since I took the lead at the beginning? Tell them a little bit about what we're doing.
Sure.
Absolutely. I liked the idea of doing the virtual 5K because I have never done a 5K before. I am not lazy, but I've never thought I could ever consider doing something like this. And it is so much fun to get out there and run the stairs with my dogs, and they have fun. I have fun. They need the exercise. I need the exercise. And I was really surprised at how short a time it really took me to do this and how much better I feel just getting out there and doing the exercise and being shut down and not getting out and doing the exercise like I should. Just doing it inside was surprising to me. And doing it for a good cause, really getting out there and just running the stairs.
Right.
It's so much fun. It's good. It's good exercise, and I feel better.
That's true. Well, and you're raising money for a good cause, Hope.
Yeah.
I was going to say there's a lot of research out there right now that says get outside and exercise because we all have been shut in, and you don't have to do it outside, but it's a great thing to do right now.
Very true. And so again, the fundraiser is going on between now and Sunday, November 1st. You can sign up again through Facebook or on the Tres Rios Habitat for Humanity website, which is tresrioshabitat.com. And get all the details and get signed up. And again, you're helping to provide resources for Tres Rios Habitat as they build their 12th home here in San Juan County, right?
Absolutely. And like, it is a donation-based program, but I also want to just say that even if you don't feel that you can raise money right now, get out and walk, share it on your social media. We need that publicity just as much as we need the funding. So you do not, it's free to register. So if you just want to walk and not raise money, that's also completely within our means.
That works. Okay, good to know. And that's a great reminder as well. So we just have a couple of minutes remaining this morning to talk a little bit more about Habitat. And so I know you're always looking for volunteers to, again, as you mentioned, help with the store or maybe help at the construction site in a COVID-safe way. Can folks reach out through the website as well if they want to sign up to do that?
They can reach out on the website and sign up for our newsletter, or they can email me directly at habitatsanjuan@gmail.com. And we send out an email every week during new construction, and we look for volunteers on Fridays and Saturdays. And each week we'll say, okay, this week we're putting in doors, or this week we're painting, or this week, whatever the need is, that you don't have to be a professional construction person, just we need bodies to be there to help.
Right.
And so that's starting now every Friday and Saturday, and so they can email me and say, hey, I want to be on the list of volunteers.
Very good. And you were mentioning too that I think that the foundation's going into the house right now, so that's where the construction is at this point in time, right?
Yes. Yep. There's a big old backhoe out there right now digging a hole, and we'll be pouring concrete. They might be pouring concrete tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly. I haven't talked to Grady Anderson, our contractor, this week, but they're getting real close to do the foundation. And then you've probably seen a million pictures of Habitat volunteers where they've got a bunch of 2x4s all together and they're lifting the wall of the house, like 10 of them. That will be the next step, is starting to do the framing. The
framing part, right. And that's when you need a whole lot of helpers, or at least 5 really good helpers to take the place of the additional helpers that you don't get. But it's
and we're looking at different ways so that, maybe you come for a half day and then another group comes for the second half a day, so we can utilize the numbers of volunteers.
That makes sense. That sounds great. Well, it's a great program, and it's helped a lot of families, and it's going to help even more here in San Juan with your fundraiser. Service on the board. I know good board members are hard to find, so thank you for stepping up to do that.
Thank you, Scott.
Good to see you, and thank you for joining me. Hope Tyler, thank you for joining us as well. Always a pleasure to get an update on Habitat for Humanity.
Yes, well, thank you, Scott. You've always been a wonderful supporter of Habitat. We really appreciate helping us get the word out.
You bet. We're glad to do it. So thank you both. It is Tres Rios Habitat for Humanity, their fundraiser, their construction project going right now. I'm Scott Michlin, back with more in just a moment on KSJE.